British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is set to outline plans for a new traffic light system relating to foreign travel. Countries will be assessed on their vaccine rollouts and infection numbers. Travellers will also be required to take a number of tests. Now, for more, let's speak to Ollie Barrett in London for the latest on this. Ollie, how will this traffic light system work, and will it encourage international travel to resume?
Well, that's the idea, Steve, but also at the same time, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson will say that he wants to use this traffic light system to continue to protect the UK as much as possible from the spread of COVID-19 and potential variants of concern. How it will work, we think, is that there will be those traffic light designations, green destinations. We understand people will be able to travel to and come back from without needing to quarantine when they get back to the United Kingdom, but there will be testing required for those travellers. Amber, we think, will be destinations to which people can travel from the UK and return as well, but will need to quarantine when they get back to the United Kingdom. And then that red designation will be destinations to which travel is effectively banned. But if Britons do come back from those destinations designated as red on the traffic light system, they would need to go into hotel quarantine when they get back to the United Kingdom. This will be designated based on the status of outbreaks in destination countries and their vaccination programs. Whether international travel can start to resume from the United Kingdom in a meaningful way in the coming weeks, though, will partly depend, of course, therefore, on exactly how the COVID-19 outbreak is developing across the world. So many British travellers, for example, looking ahead to potential European summer holidays, will not be given much more information from Boris Johnson later on, we don't think, about whether that will actually be possible. He will probably say that for many destinations around the world, it's just too soon to say exactly when travel will be able to resume to those destinations.
On the domestic front, Boris Johnson is also opting for a mass testing strategy in England. How will this help with easing lockdowns?
The government hopes that people will take a test a couple of times a week, a mass rollout of testing, which ministers expect and hope will be able to identify potential localized outbreaks of COVID-19 and therefore deal with them when they are spotted. It is going to be difficult potentially to enforce, though, if you're asking people who may be symptom-free to get themselves tested, if they know that the prospect therefore exists of having to head into quarantine if a positive result is returned at the time when the economy is reopening and their friends are headed back to the pubs and the restaurants and the cafes and the cinemas and the theatres. But the government does believe that mass testing is going to be a crucial part of the exit from COVID-19 lockdown restrictions. And we'll also hear more from Boris Johnson about that. He will say that on April the 12th, things are going in the right direction for the further easing of lockdown to go ahead. So things like non-essential retail, hairdressers will be able to reopen. We'll also hear more from him about the possibility of so-called COVID passports or COVID certification. That idea that if you have been vaccinated or have negative test results and can show it, that you'll be able to get access more easily to things like sporting events, cinemas and theatres when they reopen. That is a deeply controversial idea that many of Boris Johnson's own MPs are opposed to, but we expect to hear more detail from the Prime Minister later on.
Ollie Barrett in London, thank you.